Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to D Smith. Let's discuss. Welcome to today's session. When Kendrick Lamar has been saying, "I'm the best," I am the best ever since he came out, and a lot of rappers got in their feelings, especially Drake and J. Cole. Shout out to Jeremy Heck. He did a video. He's been breaking down year by year, and we are on 2013. I want to react to this video. Shout out to Jeremy Heck once again. And Kendrick Lamar said, "I am the best since I came into this game." And you should have confidence, right? You should not run and hide. But let's react to this video. Once again, shout out to Jeremy Heck. Let's go, man.
13, so I look at a kid grabbing his first CD, Good Kid, Mad City. Will he still be bumping this, when he's 23? You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I feel he will be bumping it, And a lot of people say it's an instant classic. That's great. I love that. But I want that longevity. I don't want you to be saying it because it's, I'm hot right now.
Facts. So you can go to Gen X. You can go to Mr. Morale. You can go to Good Kid, Mad City over and over and listen to those albums and like really enjoy it and hear something different every time, man.
Whatever the quote is,
I heard you're the hottest MC in the game.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But eventually, most artists, that flame usually burn out. So I'm not really concerned with that as much as everybody.
I'm gonna stop. I ain't gonna stop it a lot. The flame keep burning out. A lot of individuals are tired of Drake music, man. The same old. That's why he has now dropped Iceman. Yeah, it's the same old bull crap. Where Kendrick reinvent himself. Every time. He took a 5-year break, right? But he reinvented himself. And that's what we want in hip-hop.
Else is, I want that longevity in it.
So weird, you like say you're gonna do something and then it actually happens, and then like it happens again and it happens again, and you just wonder like, does it run out? Desire? Is it hunger? Like, and this right here, I used to talk about this all the time. Like, I always said I'd get one of these, and I got it, man. It's like, when does it stop? Does it stop? Why is it happening? Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about. It's surreal.
There's something to be said for the fact that everybody wants to be the guy with the juice. Everybody wants to be the best because we're doing a form of music where it's complete self-expression. A lot of it has to do with talking about yourself. And with that being said, I think that's where a lot of the confrontation stems from in our genre, because in the times where I'll make a record and then go away, a lot of people say a lot of things, try and state their claim, or when you're not on an album cycle, there's going to be someone else that wants that spot. So you have to come
drop the album, drop Iceman
back with a vengeance always.
Drop Iceman.
Do you?
Drop Iceman.
I like to. I mean, I'm here to win.
You're here to win. You like the competitive.
Yeah,
you don't feel like that's just the way it has to be. You want it to be that way. You want to win.
Yeah. Kendrick took that competitive spirit out him. Would not like us. 2 years later, he is scared to drop the Iceman album. Drake is scared to drop the Iceman album.
Yeah, I've functioned best under. I've always functioned. I mean, I was the kid that used to not study for his test, unless it was like a night before. I function best under pressure, one. And the thing that's changed about that is I never really used to pass my test back in the day.
You're passing it a big way now.
I know that there was a point in time when these guys were my favorites, and they still are, but there was a point in time when they seemed so far from me. Like, even though I believed in my talent, but they seemed so far away. Like, they were so good. You know what I mean? And it's reached a level where it's like, now everybody feels like my competition. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just being honest.
Yeah.
It no longer feels like things that they do are out of my reach. I know that what I bring to the table is just as special. You know what I mean? Maybe the world don't know, you know what I mean? But I believe now, you know what I mean?
a good artist, a successful rap career, is 5 years. That tripped me out. That blew me away. And when I started doing my research on it,
Very true.
it's very true.
Yeah.
You know, as much as we love the culture, it doesn't translate, you know, to continue as far as sales, as far as a business. Everything is so trendy. You know, everybody's on to the next. I did my research on that, you know, and that shook me up. You know, that'll scare you, you know, as much as you love it. It'll come a point in time where you're cold, you know, and you might never get back. Only the few, you know, golden childs really get back, like Busta, you know. Years, Jay, you know, Nas, you know, these people
De La Soul.
really have something else going on, something special. And I felt that line was a pinnacle line inside that song, gearing up to my first album. You know, should I acknowledge that now, or should I wait 5 years later to acknowledge it when it's all, you know, God willing that it don't be 5 years, but you know, let me think about this now and really soak in the opportunity that I have. So let me go a little bit 10 times harder than what the next artist is doing.
Same way people be like, man, you know, you got to get back on that So Far Gone shit. That was your, it's just like, what is that to you though? Is it, do I have to get back to sounding like that? Or was that a time marker in your life when you were in college dating this girl and you got that mixtape and nobody knew about Drake, and now, you know, and you want that moment back? I can't give you that moment anymore. I can keep giving you great music. We can keep growing. We can keep understanding each other. But it's tough for me to go back there, you know. So as far as like making those statements.
So this is very interesting. A lot of individuals are asking for Drake to go back in this time period. His fans are. They want the old Drake, but the old Drake is not here. The old Drake does not have those same skills. He does not have those same writers. He does not have Quentin Miller for you guys. So I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, not.
I don't know what I was saying about that.
The language. Why the language feel right? You got Stun on there too?
No, wait, hold on. I was making a point. Hold on, Elliot. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody, man.
People want to say like, well, with Kendrick's album and the success he had, do you feel like with like you coming out and Wale and Sean that you're kind of like you type of guys are building a whole new, like a new golden age?
We have to,
a new golden age?
We have to, because if me, Kendrick, Drake, put it like this, if not us, then who? The shit is gonna die. Because you can't just keep, and you talking to a nigga that loves Jay-Z, loves Kanye West, and loves Nas, but at some point you gotta stop acting like nobody can do it better. Because if you really hold on to that belief, you're never gonna see the niggas that actually might be taking it to another place. You know what I mean? Like if you always praising Michael Jordan, and we love Michael Jordan, you're never gonna realize that LeBron James is amazing. Or, you know, Kevin Durant is amazing. Like,
it all goes back to
LeBron.
It all goes back to LeBron.
It all goes back to LeBron.
You should get into a rap battle.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
I feel like that's just.
I feel
like those things are of the moment.
You're qualified.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm
no.
saying? Like,
I'd hold it down. I do, like, I really do this, like, as far as writing goes, and it would have to be warranted because it would be scathing. The bars would be scathing. I can't just do it out of. I can't be the first one. You know, I'm always.
You wouldn't do it for sport ever?
Like just to call someone out.
Like no, like.
Cap.
Like after Kendrick's thing, you wouldn't. I noticed you didn't really get into that too much. So
I just like I don't know. It just wasn't real to me. It's like I saw him after that, and it was just like love. So it's like, was that real or was that just like for the people? You know what I mean?
I think it's a sparring kind of sport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you know, then let it be real. Then, you know, I mean, because those were harsh words, right? So it's like, you can't just say that and then see me and be like, yeah, man, what's up? Pretending like nothing ever happened. Like, that's not real. To me, that's not like the nature of battling. I mean, there's passion behind it. There's anger behind it, you know, and I personally enjoy making like great music and bodies of work over like being the talk of Twitter for like 5 days, you know.
But you seem just now a little irritated by it. No?
Really?
Yeah, just by even saying that it was little harsh words, it seemed like maybe it irritated you for a second.
Like someone yelled out Kendrick. It seems like nowadays people want to build Kendrick.
Nobody yelled out Kendrick. You just heard that in your head. When you go to sleep, you just hear somebody be like, Kendrick Lamar.
Then now he takes a competitive stance with a verse like Control, and then you said that he's not murdering you in any platform, but that's where that rivalry. That's where people want to try to build. That's if you want to try to build the rivalry. Like, what's your take on that? Do you feel like that they're trying to create a competition that he's not on your level because of your accomplishments? Like, do you feel like they're trying to hype this up and elevate it too much?
Nah, I feel like that's it. It's like, he's the new guy to love, and of course, I mean, rightfully so. He's super talented. He is the underdog that's extremely hungry. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing his thing really well. And that verse he's giving people like moments. Like that verse was a moment to talk about. Are you listening to it now at this point in time?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but it was real cool for like, a couple weeks.
But only one God for all the kings.
It's 2013. Kendrick Lamar reached a new level of success that he had been dreaming about for years after the critical acclaim and unanimous fan appreciation of his album Good Kid, Mad City. He's heading on tour to perform it live across the country in front of thousands of people. Meanwhile, J. Cole is working on his sophomore album, Born Sinner, and the pressure to create a hit song from the label was no longer there. But after seeing the success of Good Kid, Mad City, the pressure to create a classic body of work was. Cole had initially announced his release date as his birthday that year, but on New Year's, he said it would be pushed to later in that year.
Your sophomore album, Born Sinner, coming out January 28th, right?
Nah, it's not gonna be January 28th. It's gonna be a little later than that. I needed more time.
What do you think will surprise fans the most about your sophomore album?
I don't know. I don't even know what they're gonna feel. I know they're gonna, I hope they're gonna love it, but I don't know if it's gonna be the production, if it's gonna be the stories. I can't tell. Hopefully they love everything about it.
At the top of the year, Drake wins his first Grammy ever for the best rap album of 2012 with Take Care.
Tell us about the ride here. Were you nervous at all? Because,
We were watching it on the iPad, the pre-telecast, and it kept cutting out. And then it just cut right back on for the moment where they're like, the best rap album goes. And they said Take Care, and I almost was like, it almost didn't even sound like my album. And then we just started going nuts, and we got out literally in the middle of the street, blocked cars, we all hugged. And then when I got back in the car, I realized that I had torn my suit.
Where?
So I stopped at a hotel.
So you stopped at a hotel and sewed it up.
And I told the tailor to meet me there, and she sewed up my suit.
Drake has like a bat phone. He calls and anything comes right away.
I have a button.
And he even took a shot from it.
It says your name on it. Oh, I know what it is. Why? Careful, the phone is epic. Wow. T-shirt. With the t-shirt on. T-shirt on. That's crazy. Oh my God. Look at this one.
YOLO is everywhere. At this point, the term YOLO had become a cultural meme, and people were literally just saying it whenever they did anything semi-risky. They were just like, well, YOLO. If you were outside at this time, you remember that clearly, and you also remember how annoying it got. And even crazier than that the parody rap group The Lonely Islands tapped Adam Levine and none other than Kendrick Lamar for a rap song called YOLO. The song was premiered on Saturday Night Live in January of 2013. Yes, you heard all of that correctly.
A dependable savings so you'll retire with money in your account. Peace. YOLO.
Drake said that the saying was actually created by Rick Ross, but after his song The Motto, it became huge and was associated with him. The same night that YOLO song premiered, Kendrick also appeared on SNL and performed Poetic Justice and Swimming Pools, although Drake was not there. At this point, we really don't know the status of Drake and Kendrick's relationship after their Club Paradise tour and collabs on Kendrick and A$AP's albums, but it's safe to say that as the year goes on, the tension will increase, and the chances of their friendship maintaining gets progressively lower as this year goes on. And we learn in 2013 that there are some things outside of everyone's control. I have a feeling this is going to be the best video in this series yet. Welcome to Passing of the Crown, a 16-part YouTube series where I take a deep dive into the big three, their come up, their relationship, and how they progress over the years. My name is Jeremy Hecht. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, Go back and start at the year 2009. I will leave the links right here. You have 2009, 10, 11, 12 to catch up on before this video. If you've been following, all I ask is that you hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this with a big fan of any of these artists. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next video. But back to the story. Drake started off the year by dropping his first single of his new era called Started From the Bottom, with one of the craziest and most expensive music videos he had released to date. Of course, there was a lot of discourse about where the bottom actually was for Drake, but regardless, the song became a big hit. It reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became another one of those cultural memes and sayings. Later, it would sell more than 2 million copies within the year. The song was produced by Mike Zombie, which was a different sound and flow than his usual home team production, and this would carry over onto his upcoming album, which sonically was a different direction than Take Care. Let's head over to J. Cole, though, who's finishing up his project Born Sinner. After having success that even shocked his own label.
So Drake definitely stole that from someone. You gotta remember during this time, the Chicago drill era was coming up. Think back. He was stealing sounds from that, from the Chicago people. Let's go, man.
With Sideline Story, Cole felt no pressure while working on this album.
I wanted to clarify, you know, it's like the first album was not a disappointment for me, but it was definitely a learning lesson, you know what I mean? And yes, it didn't have that, sales-wise, it killed the game and it changed the industry, but it didn't have that critical acclaim that I wanted, like Friday Night Lights did. That's really what got that, the warm-up and then Friday Night Lights. But I was so focused on the album, my first album, that I couldn't appreciate how big Friday Night Lights was, you know what I mean? Like, that was critically acclaimed, like, that was a wave when it came out. But I was so worried about my album, I couldn't appreciate it and say thank you, you know, for that response.
But midway through the album, he did actually get writer's block. And funny enough, he used the book The Artist's Way in order to break that. Doechii actually recently shared a similar story. I actually started this book recently, and I would any creatives out there trying to take their art to the next level.
Your process was different. This time you went back to writing lyrics out in the notepad as opposed to typing up.
I read a book. I didn't read it all the way, but I got enough from it that I needed. It's called The Artist's Way, and it's all about, it's for artists, any artist, whatever you do, whatever your creative medium is, it's for like Black artists. And so about a year into making the album, I had all this incredible material. I was flowing out, like it was flowing like a floodgate, but it hit a point where it's like, it stopped, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it was too much, going to the studio was too much pressure. The people in the studio was bothering me like, yo, why y'all around right now? Y'all messing my vibe up. So I needed to just get away, and I got this book. I don't know how I found out about this book. It found me. Word. And I read it, and one thing it talked about was, it talked about 3 pages a day. It was like your morning pages. And basically what it wants you to do is to wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do when you wake up is you write 3 pages, freehand, non-stop. You can't stop. You have to write the first thing that comes in your head. So you're like, oh man, I'm wearing a white shirt, need a shower, I stink, went out last night, blah, blah, red pen, anything that comes in your mind. And that's how I got back into writing, and you know what I mean? And that opened up a lot of things. And I realized I like writing stuff down better. You know what I mean? Type. You get so comfortable because you could be in a club or be on a bus and you can just type in your phone, a line that comes in your head. But there's something more intimate about writing it down. So when I was reading that book and going through that, that's when I started to reappreciate writing stuff down, because I got notebooks and notebooks full of lyrics. And it's like, I also got a BlackBerry full of notes, you know what I mean? And I just enjoy it. Feels more, reminds me of when I was a kid, you know what I mean?
What else did you do this?
Once Cole was able to break free, a lot of his writing came from this internal battle that he had between good and evil. Even his logo includes an angel with devil horns, a theme that would play heavily within Born Sinner, down to the title and the artwork. Maybe part of the writer's block actually came from him struggling with whether or not he wanted to be open with that duality, and whether or not he wanted to actually admit that he was going back and forth between wanting to have a family life and really settling down and being comfortable with who he is versus becoming the quote-unquote rapper and living the lifestyle with the money and the women and all the things that come with the success. A similar reflection that Kendrick had on Buried Alive after seeing Drake's success success early on in the rap game, and seeing him as a real superstar with the fame and with the success and everything that came with that for him. Cole said that he played his album for both Drake and Kendrick while he was working on the project to get their feedback. But even though J. Cole dropped his debut album and reached new heights, he still seemed to look at Drake's level of success as something that he still had to attain. Before the album, Cole dropped his freestyle Cole Summer, where he said this: "Throwing thousands in the strip club with Drizzy. Difference is I'm throwing 4, he's throwing 50, Lord forgive me." And while reflecting back on how he felt behind in his position early on in the game, when Drake had hits before him, he said this on the same song: "Play my position the whole while still wishing. A year later, Drake put his key in your ignition." Talking about hip-hop as a whole and how Drake stepped into the game as the new superstar at the time. He clearly still saw Drake's success as a level that he wasn't on yet. But to be fair, $4,000 at the strip club is still a solid tip for the stripper, so you don't need to feel bad, Cole. But while Cole may have looked at Drake's success in that way, he had never been more confident in his skill in the music and his rapping ability. And in fact, he got one of the biggest hits of his career that came natural, that he felt really good about, and that he produced with Power Trip. Apparently he wanted to keep his vocals on the song, but ended up caving into his team, who wanted Miguel to get on the hook, which was a great decision because their chemistry is amazing. The song peaked at number 19 on the Billboard charts and became certified platinum. Speaking of Miguel, Kendrick featured on the remix to How Many Drinks and tore that up. Kaleidoscope Dream, as you can see on my wall behind me, is one of the best R&B albums of all time in my opinion, and one of my favorite albums ever, but let me know where you were when you first heard it in the comments. Kendrick also featured on Schoolboy Q's Collard Greens and Robin Thicke's Give It To You, and Jhené Aiko's Stay Ready. But back to Kendrick features in just a minute. I had already recorded a video about the hottest MCs list and everything that went on with that, so I'm going to drop a part of that video here in the timeline, and I'll see you in a second.
Kendrick, I know you were told we were about to shoot graphics today.
Right.
And sit down and do an interview.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the whole truth. The whole truth is that the MTV Brain Trust got together, as we do every single year, and discussed who was the hottest MCs in the game. Yeah, man. And we went through about 15 of them, narrowed it down to 10. The 10 became 5, the 5 became 2. And you, Kendrick Lamar, are the hottest MC in the game, according to the MTV Brain Trust. Congratulations, man.
It's March 7th, 2013. Kendrick Lamar was just named the hottest MC on MTV's annual list. MTV had been dropping their annual hottest MC list, where they rank rappers based on their influence, impact, lyricism, etc. through a roundtable processing, including people like Sway and Rob Markman. Each list was based on the previous calendar year, similar to the Grammys, so in this case it was really 2012's hottest MCs. This year's list included KDOT at number 1 and Drake at number 5. Just a year prior, Drake was number 2 on that list, and Kendrick was nowhere to be found. Drake was number 4 in 2010 and 3 in 2009, so this marked the lowest he was placed on this list since his entry into the game.
It's crazy, these lists, because most of the guys are still relevant today. Not like the superstars, but they had B.O.B. on the list, Waka Flocka, Flame on the list, man, and they were hot when they came out.
And J. Cole was notably nowhere to be found, but we'll get back to J. Cole in a couple minutes. Later that night, seemingly in the middle of the night, on March 7th, Drake released a SoundCloud Lucy that many consider to be some of his best rapping ever. The song was titled 5 a.m. in Toronto. On the surface, the song appears to include topics of your average Drake timestamp record, where he talks about his spot in the game and reflects on how far he's come, but with the context of that MTV list in mind, this song sounds a little different. And there are many specific lines that stood out to me. The song starts with Drake saying, "You underestimated greatly," and then goes on to talk about his statistics. This could be a direct response to the makers of that list, but then Drake says, "Give these dudes the look, the verse, and even the hook. That's why every song sounds like."
That's when this old boy start the numbers. The numbers are all about the numbers. Knowing that the numbers are fake and manufactured. Knowing that I had bots 10 years ago before you guys had it.
Drake featuring Drake. On the MTV list, this could be a clear reference to actually a few people. In terms of the look, Drake gave Kendrick a huge look on Take Care by giving him his own interlude, as well as taking him on tour and giving him a feature for his major label debut, Good Kid, Mad City. But 2 Chainz, who was number 2 on that list, also benefited greatly from Drake providing him with the hook and a verse for one of his first big solo songs, No Lie. Rick Ross, number 3, also...
The other way around. Look at this square ass guy right here. The other way around. Drake needed them.
Also had Drake giving him a hook on Diced Pineapples, a verse on Stay Schemin', along with a hook and a verse on Aston.
Drake still need Atlanta right now. Still need Atlanta right now. Nobody care how many followers you got. Facts.
Art and music. They also appeared alongside each other on some of Ross's biggest moments at that point, including Pop That, Stay Schemin', as well as having him on Lord Knows off of Take Care. Not to mention appearing together on I'm On One. Drake also gave A$AP Rocky a feature alongside Kendrick and 2 Chainz on Effin' Problems, which dropped end of 2012. Drake had given Meek Mill a feature for Ain't Men in 2012 as well, and he eventually, of course, gave Big Sean a verse and a hook on Blessings, but that would drop later down the road. Not to mention that Drake has written for Kanye before, so I wouldn't be shocked if he had written some hooks and verses for Kanye in that 2012 time span or in the years prior. Maybe something that we're unaware of. All that to say, it feels like Drake really felt slighted by this list. But on 5 AM, Drake's feelings are really made clear when he says this. F them this year, I made Forbes list. F your list, everything's looking gorgeous. He closes that verse off by saying, I'm on my King James, I'm trying to win here again, meaning he's aiming for that top spot once again. So that was an initial response. Kendrick's response was actually very similar to the sentiment on Control and was all about competition. Here's what Kendrick had to say when asked about the list and the response from people like Kanye who felt slighted with their position on the list.
It's very important for hip-hop. I love it. I love that they have debates like that. We need that, you know? It's competitive. A lot of people forget out here, you know, even though we're doing these collaborations and stuff like that, you know, and we cool, at the same time, this is still rap. This is still competitive. And I'm trying to compete with everybody, you know, to be the best. And that's how I feel, you know, everybody else should think about it, you know, so.
Facts. They're going to take your neck off.
Make their comments, I feel that's needed. You know, you're supposed to feel like you're the best. Because if you don't, you're going to get stepped on. Because there's a jungle out there, you feel me?
Facts.
I heard about it. Yeah. Yep. Exactly, as he should be. As he should be. Be passionate.
Then on June 22nd, 2013, Drake and J. Cole dropped Jodeci Freestyle, and there's also some references to this very same list on that song. And this time things felt like they could have been a little bit more direct towards Kendrick. Again, let me know in the comments if some of these felt like Kendrick jabs, or if you think they were just general at the field type bars. I should run a clinic for dudes that think that they winning on some coach 50 M's for a 3-month road trip. Now this feels like it could be alluding to Drake talking about taking both Kendrick and A$AP Rocky on tour, which if you add it up, it was 67 shows that lasted about 4 months. So that does fit that bar. And of course Kendrick talks about that infamous conversation where Drake was giving him inside information about the industry and the game, because Drake was the first to really make it on that level of success out of the big 3. He then says on verse 2, oh stop, please stop arguing about who's the best MC. I think everyone would agree they know that you're not. And while this may have been more of a general sub, there was really only one person that it could have been directed towards when they're talking about they know that you're not the best MC, because there was only one person at the #1 spot on that list. So even if it was kind of an at the field type bar, I think Kendrick was somewhere taking notes and just writing things in his notebook. I'm just as unforgiving as most. You bit the hand, now starve. It's not a joke. I'll hang you with it after I teach you the ropes. Now, again, to me this feels like it could be an A$AP shot or a Kendrick shot, because he seemed to have taken them under his wing, especially on that tour, and probably told them a lot of things about the industry, might have given them lessons about what he's learned when it comes to the music business side of things before they dropped their major label debuts. And again, alluding to what he had done for Kendrick prior with the features and the tour. Now, Cole and Drizzy were clearly talking about this list, at least in their own conversations, because it comes up once again in Cole's verse. Cole says, F your list, you lame and doubters. I'm undoubtedly the hottest, and that's just me being modest. Go check the numbers, dummy. that's just me getting started. And then Cole delivers one of his worst bars ever that actually required an apology, which is now bleeped out in the version on streaming. Which, speaking of streaming, Cole also had a Spotify reference in this verse, and this was 2013, so he was definitely ahead in terms of technology, which he clearly shows that he still is, if you looked at what he did with Even and his podcast, or his, Talk with Eve, where they're talking about and reflecting on the career. Cole's a smart guy. But also that showed at that time to me, I think Cole could have gotten away with that line if he wasn't on a song with Drake, but it shows the difference in terms of where both of them were at and how Drake was still the leader in terms of mainstream success, or at least outside of just the hip-hop world. In terms of Cole's response to this list in real time, here's what he jokingly had to say to DJ Drama. And whether or not you believe him about not caring, he clearly did feel something because he put it in the bars in Jodeci Freestyle.
Cole's not on the hottest MCs.
Who the fuck makes the decision?
How you feel about that, man? This is the first time
fucking die.
They left you off the list.
This is some bullshit. DJ Drama.
J. Cole is here.
Somebody's gonna die.
He's got his Dreamville shirt on. And what you think, man? Like, as a lyricist, as an MC, as somebody who's quite relevant in 2013 and as of 2012. And
well, you got that right.
Why did they leave you off the list, Cole?
I don't know, bro. I don't really give a fuck.
And when you hear Kendrick talk in that interview earlier, it's clear that he has a competitive spirit brewing and he's ready to claim that top spot. He didn't shy away from it for 1 minute. So he may have even been thinking about it beforehand, even before this list, but I think hearing those lines from Drake and Cole gave him a little extra motivation to want to take the competitive spirit to the next level and stamp himself as the best amongst his peer group lyrically. Just a few weeks after that list dropped, Kendrick received one of the greatest surprises of his career so far, and it came in the form of a Jay-Z verse. For the remix of Don't Kill My Vibe, Kendrick made the artwork a picture of Kobe and Michael Jordan standing next to each other on the court, which was very symbolic of where Kendrick was at in his career and obviously how he viewed Jay with the utmost respect.
That shit good, dude.
Hey, Doug.
That's grimy.
Hey, Doug. Mastermind right here, dog. This nigga had this shit for like a week, dog. Talk to the shit.
Play that shit for me. Hey, you heard it? Yeah. You heard it?
We all heard it, dog. This is your secret, dog.
That's Tony Ball. Never homies on
Kendrick even recorded a new verse to go up against Jay, which was probably a good decision because Jay smoked that. But this was a big moment for Dot, and I think this, paired with the hottest MCs list, did have Drake feeling away. Cole's album, on the other hand, had a release date that he was promoting, but when Kanye West announced that his album Yeezus was going to be dropping a week before Cole, which again I do think was probably intentional based on their relationship, Cole made the very bold decision to bump his album up to the exact same day as Kanye, similar to what Kanye and 50 had done in the past. He even got Jay's co-sign to do so. Keep in mind, Kanye's previous album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, had done nearly 500K first week in sales, while Cole had done 200. People decide making this into a competitive thing where his fan base could rally behind it. Not only was Kanye dropping that day, but Mac Miller dropped Watching Movies with the Sound Off also. I really do think that this is one of the best days for hip-hop music ever, and maybe even music, period. I remember going to the store that day with my friends, picking up all 3 albums and just bumping them back to back to back. I think I ended up liking Mac Miller's album the best out of the 3 after a few listens, but I loved all 3 albums. Yeezus, of course, was polarizing, but I still did like the album. Where were you guys that day? Did you buy all 3? Did you listen to all 3? What order did you listen? And who had the best album?
Negative.
But we weren't the only friends going to the store and buying albums that day. In fact, Drake and J. Cole went to the store and bought up the entire rack of Cole's Born Sinner album at Best Buy.
That's how it should be.
And ironically, if you look, the album that they purchased first was none other than Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City, and Drake picked up the check that day.
On the front door. The trilogy, I'll buy that.
Yo, so I just want to know, like, who's paying because the way my bank account
That's all me.
set up is like, all right.
He even so casually said that single purchase of one Take Care album might have had him hit the 2 million mark for Take Care total sales, which was a light flex.
Now, if you gotta finish buying these, they need one. There's an ain't no more CDs, man.
We'll give him one, tell him we'll give him
We'll get y'all a CD in a second, man. We got scammed. First we fighting reasons, man. All the shit's gone, man.
It's crazy because this shows me they was cheating way back then. I'm gonna go buy all the CDs of my favorite one person. I'm gonna go buy all these CDs. Drake and J. Cole cheating way back then. Look at the evidence. I'm gonna purchase all these albums. They were buying before the bots. Man, you can't make this shit up.
Oh! Oh! Yo, that's crazy.
I need the one sale, son. I'm trying to
Look at this.
You don't want it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I don't know.
How long scam?
That's 88. That's a receipt right there, man. Real.
That's a receipt.
That's the real.
Come on, sit up.
The night the album dropped, Cole brought out Drake during his $1 in a Dream show where fans only had to pay $1 for entry, and Drake performed started from the bottom. imagine paying $1 to see Drake and J. Cole the same night? And I just want to know if any of you guys were at that show or at any of the other Dollar and a Dream shows. I am jealous. I wish I was there, but we can live vicariously through you guys if you tell us the experience below. Kendrick had a feature on Cole's album, but ultimately, fans were disappointed that he only laid down a hook with no verse, but Cole explained it was mostly a timing thing. Kanye did end up outselling J. Cole at first. His first week sales were 320K to 297K, but that was still a huge look for Cole, and a lot of people loved his album, so it did continue to build buzz. While Kanye's album was maybe the most polarizing of his career besides 808, so by the third week, J. Cole had outsold his former idol. He said, "I only get brief moments to appreciate things. I might get a 2-minute thought of like, wow, you really did sell more than Kanye. You currently have sold more records than Kanye West's album, which came out the same day. Then I'm back to focusing on what's next." Cole still seemed like he felt like he was behind and chasing certain things. He said, "I don't wake up every day like I got a great status in the rap game. No, I feel behind. I don't feel like I've done enough. This mindset will change completely next year." One of the standout moments on the album was J. Cole talking about how Workout let Nas down because Nas saw him as the next guy to take the throne and take the torch for the next generation, but ended up dropping this commercial single that didn't really fit with Cole's vibe at the time. Cole told this crazy story where he recorded Let Nas Down and then actually ran into Nas in the airport and was on the same flight as him just a few days after finishing recording it, which the only way to describe that is God's timing. But Nas ended up jumping on the remix of the song and letting Cole know that he did make him proud, which was a magic moment for hip-hop. I definitely remember exactly where I was during that time. You had Nas and Jay jumping on the remixes of the next generation of stars. Ironically though, it was Jay wanting a hit that ended up letting Nas down about Cole. And Jay is the one who hopped on Kendrick's remix while Nas hopped on Cole's remix, which is an interesting dynamic. And I do think something about that situation may have caused a little bit of tension between Cole and Jay at that time, but I could just be speculating. Drake was gearing up to drop his third studio album, Nothing Was the Same, and releasing some of his best Lucy's yet, including Girls Love Beyonce and Over Here with Party Next Door. Ironically, on that party song, Drake mentions Compton and Nas. He said, "But I was there, Nas, Don shit. A couple things sit on my conscience. With that said, look at all we accomplished. Yeah, sure, this ain't Compton, but this ain't a fairy tale land neither. We all lost mad people. The city wild. They gave the task to a purposeful child. Verses start to get a little more personal now. But that's because everybody else sounding so played out though. Oliver North and the Cut Dolce out though. So it seems like this could be a slight Kendrick jab, but also pretty subliminal and pretty vague. Let me know if you think those were directed towards anyone." But then he also says this later in the verse, and it seems like it could also align where he says, "I'm back boy for real, I'm that boy for real. I got hits, you just a bat boy for real." Again, all year he kind of little bros Kendrick in interviews, so maybe these bars could fit that narrative. He also hopped on the Versace remix with Migos, which was a lot of people's first time hearing about the buzzing Atlanta trio. Not to say that Migos didn't have their own movement going, but I do think that this introduced Migos to a new audience, which I think even
Cap.
Versace, you weren't out, you were actually locked up. I was going through real life, so I was like not really understanding and seeing it. But I do remember the first time I knew it was real, I was in the cell. They was doing
my God, these niggas so
cap. They singing the song as he do count. Like I didn't tell nobody when I was in there. It was like I ain't just be there, bro. And I almost cried, bro. I felt so sick. I'm like, oh, I got it fired up.
He also dropped Emotion, which Cole showed love to, and of course, Jodeci Freestyle with J. Cole himself. It seems like Cole and Drake spent a lot of time together around Cole's album release, and I think they had a few conversations, including a few conversations about the hottest MCs list. At least that's what I think based on the bars we heard. Because Drake told Cole that he was dropping a group of songs in a few days, and he said he needed a verse back from him ASAP, which ended up being the Jodeci Freestyle verse. I personally think Drake had the better verses on that song. Let me know your favorite verse on Jodeci Freestyle. Drake was gearing up to drop his third studio album, Nothing Was the Same, and he dropped his most pop-heavy single yet, Hold On, We're Going Home. Here's what he said about the intention behind that song.
We love Hold On, We're Going Home, but what is that song about? Like Drake, no, I've been asking Twitter, I've been asking everyone, what do those lyrics mean? Where's home? Where you go? Like, what's going on? I don't know. I'm being real, I don't know.
Well, in my life, what's your name, by the way? What is it? Nikki? Ironic. No. In my life, I'm at a place where I can't offer somebody that I'm with that much right now.
Oh,
I'm so
fucking
dedicated
God.
to this. I'm so committed to this room that I can't really offer somebody the nurturing and the dedication and the loyalty and the consistency that it takes to make.
Dude, every time this nigga speak, it puts me to sleep, man. Shut the fuck up, dude.
In a relationship, or I can build with you, but I don't know if I can give you what somebody that's not in my position can give you. So for me, with that hook,
dude ain't saying shit. Shut the fuck up, man.
Just hold on. We're going home. Just give me a second. I'll be there soon. And then, a lot of it for me is also the juxtaposition from the female perspective. Is just like the line that sticks out to me the most is like, you're a good girl. You act so different around me. I don't know why everybody. There's something to be said for seeing potential. I've seen potential. Those are all my best friends in the world right there. I've seen potential in women that they've told me are no good. Straight up, like they told me, but maybe I see something in that. Maybe our relationship is exciting. So with that being said, it's sort of like me talking to a woman, but also me talking to myself. That's really how I put it.
Apparently they had a huge camp of producers and writers with actual tents inside the studio so they could sleep there while working on Nothing Was the Same. And here's how Majid Jordan gave Drake the song.
Wow, and so did they just say straight up, we love this song, we think this would be a great song for Drake? And I know this sounds crazy because of what it did for your guys' life, but for a lot of artists it's hard to give up a song, even if it was for a big star. If you wrote it and you loved it, you knew it was great. So tell us about that part of it.
Well, so the song wasn't something we just had ready and prepared and they heard. It was like we got back to Toronto and they were just starting the beginnings of Nothing Was the Same in 2013. So they basically put us in a studio, and it was like a studio camp almost. There were tents in there. There were like people flying in. Yeah, make beats. Stay in the dungeon. Don't leave. You cannot leave.
Literally tents.
You can't tell anyone you're working on this project.
We met like so many people that we now work with and collaborate with.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. There's actually tents.
Yeah, there are tents in the studio. People were camping. I slept in a tent in the studio.
Everything. Yeah,
but
crazy.
So yeah, we're making beats for like a few months, and we eventually get to make Hold On. I write the words over a beat that's produced by this guy Paul Jeffries, really talented producer, goes by 1985. He also produced Hotline Bling, and it was like R&B, slow, jammy. You know what I mean? Jordan heard the idea, loved the melodies and the words, and was like, okay, I can speed this up and like give it that like 4 on the floor almost feeling, like beef it up a little bit. So we did. And then we put it on a USB for Drake to drive home to one night. He drove home, we showed up the next day, and he tracked it. And they're like, we love this song. This is the one. And 40's sitting there with his arms up in the studio, and he's like, we got the single, we did it, And we're just like, we're like, okay, great, this is amazing. Like, we don't really know what we did. We gave you this yesterday, and now we're here, and everyone's happy.
There's been a lot of like 24-hour life-changing Majid Jordan moments.
Yeah, so
everything is just within the span of 24 hours.
It's just like your whole day changes, So,
I hope them guys got their compensation for that song. Messing with Drake, OVO, who knows? Hopefully they got compensated real well. So let me know what you think. I doubt it.
Completely shifted when Kendrick dropped a little verse known as Control. And this isn't just for the big three, this is for the entire rap game. It's crazy how one verse can F up the game. It's August 14th, 2013. Big Sean releases a song featuring Jay Electronica and Kendrick Lamar called Control. And on that song, Kendrick had what I say is the most impactful verse in hip-hop history because of the impact it would later have and continues to have years later. But even if you don't want to give it that, you do have to admit it's one of the boldest and most interesting verses, at the very least from his generation, if not ever. That was the moment that Drake and Kendrick's friendship became rocky forever. Kendrick name-dropped who he saw as his peer group and said that he wanted to take the top spot from them, going as far as to say that he didn't want to hear another noun or verb from them, and I always wondered how he feels about adjectives. Bad joke. Back to the video. He also makes the claim that he's king of New York in a reference to a corrupt bar, which clearly upset a lot of people from the East Coast.
Nah, honestly, I didn't know there'd be so much speculation behind it. I wanted to rap. You know, if anybody that knows me doing music, I wanted to rap.
So people kind of was like, man, he's saying he the king of New York.
I think that's the case right there. I maybe have to dumb down my lyrics just a little bit. People that actually understood it and got it was the actual king of New York. It's not about actually being the king of whatever coast. It's about being on market. As great as Biggie, as great as Cotton.
Let's focus on the impact of the big three for now. Apparently, Drake did see Kendrick the next day at the VMAs, and according to him, it was all love, which seemed to upset him. And apparently he felt a way about it and wanted it to be real tension or don't rap and mention his name at all.
Where does that come from?
I think I don't give people enough to talk about. I don't know if I've made enough slip-ups or enough mistakes, so I think that stories have to be...
Nigga, it wasn't even that serious to Kendrick Lamar. It wasn't that serious. You in your head trying to make some shit up. It was not that serious to Kendrick. Competitive, but your panties got all up in your ass, and this where we at today.
Created out of thin air sometimes, and I think that's one of those things.
You should get into a rap battle.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
I feel like that's just.
I
feel like those things are of the moment.
Yeah, but you're qualified.
Yeah, no, I'm. Oh no,
like,
Cap.
I hold it down.
Cap.
Yeah,
Cap.
Angie
Martinez. Cap.
As far as writing goes, and it would have to be warranted because it would get.
Knowing that this nigga don't write his music, come on, man. Cap.
It would be scathing. The bars would be scathing.
Cap.
Really? I can't be the first one.
Pusha T whooped your motherfucking ass, and you ran. Cap.
I'm always
the lies we tell.
Ever?
Like just to call someone out.
Like after Kendrick's thing, you wouldn't. I noticed you didn't really get into that too much. So
I just I don't know. It just wasn't real to me. It's like I saw him after that, and it was just like love. So it's like, was that real or was that just like for the people? You know what I mean?
I think it's a sparring kind of sport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like then let it be real. Then because those were harsh words, right? So it's like. You can't just say that and then see me and be like, yeah, man, what's up? Pretending like nothing ever happened. Like, that's not real. To me, that's not like the nature of battling. I mean, there's passion behind it. There's anger behind it, and I personally enjoy making like great music and bodies of work over like being the talk of Twitter for like 5 days,
But you seem just now a little irritated by it. No?
Really?
Yeah, just by even saying that it was those harsh words, it seemed like maybe it irritated you for a second. Is that wrong?
No, it's just like, coming from that situation, it was unexpected. I wouldn't it's sort of like in working your way up and sort of building relationships. I wouldn't expect you to like throw all the relationships out the door for the sake of, like I said, being. Like,
this really shows the being Drake right here. Soft crying for no reason, looking ass.
Like the talk of the internet for 10 days, and then it's like now this like everyone's gonna forget about. I mean, people don't even care about it anymore.
So true.
But now, especially this week, it's like
Cap, Angie, come on, Angie, you're better than that. 20 years later, individuals still talking about it. Oh boy, still got his panties in a bunch.
Okay, moving on. I don't know if it was worth it, because there's a lot of people that were mentioned that I feel like can't really go back and fuck with that guy after that. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I shouldn't have cussed.
No, it's okay. I enjoy it. Get into it, Drake. Go.
But no, that's
people think you're too nice. That's the problem. You gotta curse a little bit.
Nah, but anyway, I mean, for me, it was cool. I feel like the verse was great, and I understand what
as a fan, I would enjoy a Drake and Kendrick kind of sparring session.
Well, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I would. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? You want me to lie to you about this?
No, that's good. That's good. I understand it. I understand it. I never thought Kendrick, but there's a couple other people I thought would have called my name by now that I never did. But
is that what you're waiting for, the name call?
I'm waiting for it. I'm ready for it. Not waiting for it, but I'm ready for it.
Nice.
I'm not the guy, but there's a reason why they don't call my name. I'm not the guy. I'm not the one.
I like when you talk crazy, Drake.
I'm not talking crazy. I'm being honest.
I know. I like that.
I'm not the one.
I think people think you're nice, too nice.
Oh, I am a very nice guy. That's how I was raised. I'm a cordial, very nice guy. I don't like confrontation, but I'm also not the guy, especially when it comes to rap.
I'm ready.
Talk that shit.
But I'm just ready. That's just real.
Right. I'ma sue you if you hurt my feelings. I'ma sue. I'ma go to court. I was talking all this trash in the beginning, but if you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna sue you. Looking at
Drake said, "It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Kendrick's not murdering me at all in any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic. 2025, it seems like a good year to revisit that." Drake says he was less upset about the verse and more upset about the timing of the verse because he had an album to promote and felt like at this point, now he has to address this verse in every interview. But my thing is, if it was so meaningless and was gonna not be remembered a couple weeks from now, then why was there a need to address it? Unless it was actually an impactful verse beyond the moment. And it does appear that Drake took things personally. If you look at this interview with Elliott Wilson for his Crown series, which I consider one of his best interviews ever, but also one of the most impactful interviews in terms of his relationship with Kendrick because of how he reacted when Control got brought up. Just listen to what he says and you guys let me know what you think.
Like someone yelled out Kendrick.
Nobody yelled out Kendrick. You just heard that.
Now he takes a competitive stance with a verse like Control. And then you said that, you know, he's not murdering you in any platform, but you know, that's where that rivalry, that's where people want to try to build, that's where people want to try to build a rivalry. Do you feel like they're trying to create a competition that he's not on your level because of your accomplishments?
He's the new guy to love, and of course, I mean, rightfully so. He's super talented. He is the underdog. He's extremely hungry, and he's doing his thing really well. And that verse, he's giving people like moments. That verse was a moment to talk about. Are you listening to it now? Okay. And then, but it was real cool for like, you know, a couple weeks. But like, if I asked you, for example, like, how does that verse start?
No, do you remember?
It'll go on and Complex and Rap Radar, give it like verse of the millennium and all that shit or whatever. Or maybe it was you that was like, is Kendrick Lamar your biggest competition like in this generation or whatever? And I think that Kendrick has like the utmost potential, man.
In that same interview, he also says that he's waiting to see if Kendrick will have consistency, hits, and bodies of work before he can really consider him competition.
When it comes to competition, I'm more worried about consistency. I'm more worried about bodies of work. I'm talking about hit records.
Which is actually very funny when you see how things turned out, and in terms of Kendrick's bodies of work being considered some of the greatest albums of all time. Not to mention the one thing that really ended up winning that battle was a hit song. But in a lesser known interview with Power 106 and Big Boy at the time, listen closely to what Drake had to say when asked if he would be working with Kendrick Lamar again.
When you heard your name, did you feel like, man, like that was kind of disrespectful, or did you feel like, oh, you know, our names were just kind of thrown in there?
I feel like he made a decision, you know what I'm saying? There was a decision to make, you know? He was like, man, I'm either going to go for this moment because I know it's going to be a big moment, or I'm going to, like, take heed to the fact that I have real relationships and I'm going to, like, not do that. I'll be real, like, I thought of doing that before. You know, I thought, like, man, it would be crazy if I just went off on everybody, but it's just kind of like, where does it really get me? Then what?
Look at Cap, you too scary for that. You are too scary for that. Drop that Iceman album, Drake. Your fans are waiting on that bullshit ass album. Drop it.
Every time I rap, people are going to expect me to be confrontational, and when I'm not, then it's not entertaining. You know what I mean? It's like, it kind of puts you in a box a bit. So
I don't think that put Kendrick in a box.
I don't know if I necessarily respect it. You know, we all make decisions, I'm sure.
What would the young lady say? It did not put Kendrick in a box. Mr. Morale. Come on, man. Great album.
He'll be good. He's talented as, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have another album and another opportunity to take the world by storm. So he'll be all right, you know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't feature, you know, any of the names that he mentioned, which it probably won't, to be honest with you. I don't know who's going to go back from that and be like, yeah, let's link up and nah, you know what I'm saying? But he'll be all right, you know, he's a talented dude.
Does it make you like not want to collab with him?
Yeah, I'm good right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just about this album and me, and you know, I don't know necessarily if I feel like 100% like I'm not like
man, send me some, let's work. Like, nah, not really. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And shout out to Letty, who's a great interview, who was the one who asked that question and who was the one who was giving the pushback about Kendrick in that interview. But remember when he said he doesn't think any one of those people would work with Kendrick again? Well, he was partially right. And before I get into that list, I think it's also really funny how Kendrick calls back to this interview on Euphoria when he says,
you don't want to work with me no more, okay.
That's my best impression. But Drake was partially right here. It kind of took a hold of Big Sean's promo run for his album Hall of Fame, and Jay Electronica's verse lived after Kendrick, so most people still have never heard it. I always say that if you were a DJ, you could drop a world exclusive premiere of Jay Electronica's verse on Control today, and people would be like, wait, this? It's a pretty dope verse. This is actually really good. When did this just came up? And I have a feeling Jay Electronica maybe harbored some resentment from that, and there's hints of his back and forth with Kendrick that we never really fully got to see. But
what's up, Kendrick on? Nah. Other than cartoons and cereal, we don't know what these niggas talking about. We don't know what these lames, we don't know what these lames is talking about. We're gonna control you in a minute. What these lames is talking about. Kendrick will body you. Look, you couldn't pay Kendrick $1 million. Kendrick wouldn't tell you. Kendrick could tell you himself he couldn't body me. Kendrick, look, Kendrick is my son. Kendrick is my baby. Kendrick wishes that he could be me.
Jay Electronica is set to have 16 more albums coming out soon, so maybe there's going to be bars on there for Kendrick. Who knows? Or maybe it will be about God and UFOs, like we've seen so far. We never saw Kendrick do a verse with ASAP, Meek Mill, or Big Crit again. He's been cool with Tyler for a long time, but no music. Mac Miller did work with Kendrick, even though he did have to trick him into doing the collab. Kendrick was recording radio drops in Mac's studio, but Mac had an instrumental ready for Dot.
He was about to leave the studio. He had like the headphones on. So the engineer just like put the beat on the Pro Tools. Like he was literally walking out and heard the beat and he got right into creation mode. You tricked him to do it. Well, yeah. I always tell people if you're speaking to me and do not have music playing, in my head it's like, so I figured that he would be the same.
Of course, him and Cole had a song on Born Sinner where Kendrick did the hook, and they did the Black Friday thing where they rapped on each other's beats, but there was never another official song where they both rapped together, which is interesting. Even the Jeezy song with them both on it, they didn't both rap verses. We never saw them actually rap alongside each other, besides the collab project that never came up. Why do you guys think that is? Let me know in the comments. One man who did jump to reach the bar of competition that Kendrick set and didn't shy away from it at all was none other than Pusha T. In fact, Push said Kendrick thanked him for fully understanding the mission he was on during Control, unlike some of his other peers.
You know, the Control thing, man, like, as soon as he saw me, he said, yo, thank you so much for just, for understanding and not taking the verse the wrong way.
I like that.
And I was like, Kendrick, you don't know I'm different, bro. I understand, like, I listen to rap.
Right.
I understand.
It's the sport of hip-hop.
It's the sport of hip-hop. And I looked at it like, man, he shouted out his peers. And he was like, yo, I want to take something from your fan base, Mac Miller's fan base. I want to take all of that. When is that not the mission?
Which, to me, a lot of the rap battle that we ended up seeing could have been avoided had people really just taken into consideration what Kendrick was attempting to do and understood that he was really trying to light a fire under his peer group and raise the bar of competition. If Drake saw things like Pusha did, we might have avoided that battle altogether. But like Kanye said, I guess we'll never know. But you can tell that Drake felt slighted. He almost looked at Kendrick as his little brother who he didn't want to fully spend any time on, and he saw Kendrick as still somebody who had aspirations of reaching where Drake's at. Like he said, he was hoping to get on Kanye's level. But the thing about it is, they're in the same generation, whether Drake liked it or not. They were peers at that time, and the people mentioned in that verse were their peer group. And this is also always a bit confusing to me. And I honestly don't think that Drake needed to take this as personally as...
So I love German videos, but damn, these be some long ass videos, man. Dude, you making a Netflix special, man.
As he did. If you look at, in a second, some of the other artists that were mentioned and how they took this verse and how they reacted and they responded, we might not see this battle in 2024 had this been received differently from Drake. And also, you can look back at my videos 4 to 5 years ago when I speak about this, and I have the same opinion now as I did then. But don't get it twisted, Drake is extremely competitive, and it comes out in some of these other interviews. You can tell that he still wants that top spot, that he cares about how he's viewed, that he has a competitive nature innately within him, which is why I was a bit confused when you look at the other interviews as to why he took it so personally, when it's clear that he has...
Hey, I'm gonna stop it right here, man. This video, it's like another half an hour to go. But shout out to Jeremy Heck for this video. Great work. I'm gonna react to the other 30 minutes tomorrow. But let me know what you think, man. Was old boy in his feelings? I say yes. Still in his feelings right now. Scared to drop an album because of Kendrick Lamar put his foot up in him. Think about that. Drake has been promoting Iceman since what, March, May of this year, and he still has not dropped. But hey, what do I know? Like, comment, subscribe. Welcome to the session. Let's go, man.